So what is good, people? So nice to have you back and seeing all your smiling faces. And today I have 1 hour with this beautiful Indian chief. It's a beautiful bike, it's a beautiful heritage, and it is a truly beautiful engine. Holy crap. That bike is fast. So today we have no shenanigans. It is only pure technical information, how it rides and how it looks. Let's go. So let's just start with the engine. This is a 116 cubic inch motor. And I was like, yeah, calm down. It is still a chopper. It is still a chopper. I underrated this engine big time. When I started this bike and began to ride, then I drove, casually out of the driveway, and then I hit it up to second gear and pulled the throttle. I was seconds of being thrown off this motorcycle. I was like, whoa, this engine is a beast. It shouldn't sit on a chopper. This bike is not a beginner bike. I'm gonna say that to you. This is not a beginner bike because the power, the torque, it's fast. It's fast. I will say that the throttle is a little bit too snappy for my style, but I guess it's a, what can I say? It's a thing that you get used to, that your bike has a certain way of riding. But when you're used to sports bikes and stuff like that, the FTR, the throttle is extremely snappy. It's like, whoa, whoa. So, fast. Okay, so now that we know that this bike is fast, period. What is the heritage of this bike? Because as you can see, it actually looks quite the same as the original Chief. And the story about the Chief is actually pretty awesome because the Chief is actually a bike which came out for the first time in 1921. It is 100 years ago this bike saw its light for the first time, and now they have produced it once again. The original designer was a guy called Charles Franklin, who was actually a dirt track racer but also an engineer. And if I'm not all wrong, he was also designing something about the Scout, but I'm not completely sure. But Charles Franklin designed this bike, and I must say he did a pretty dang good job. And now that it has been redesigned to fit, what can I say, today's design standards, they have really kept the original, the heritage of this bike on the new 2021 Chief. So as you can see on the bike, it really is true to the original design of this Indian Chief. And they are also true to their heritage. They have these badges with estimated in 1901. And what can I say, Indian is really making an effort to let people know that Indian is the first American motorcycle brand. But when we are looking at the V-twin engine, you can see it actually has exactly the same lines. It is the same design as the original Chief that came out in 1921. Truly beautiful. I really think this is a beautiful motorcycle. So this Indian Chief Bobber Dark Horse has a 116 cubic inch motor and 120 pound-feet of torque that, if you are not awake, will do everything it can to make you hold tight on the handlebar. Big, fat 16-inch wire spoke rims with Pirelli's Night Dragon tires on it as standard. It has a 4-inch round ride command display that will tell you everything you need to know while riding, and even more than that. The time, the temperature, navigation, vehicle status, music library, and the list goes on. Keyless ignition and rear cylinder deactivation, so your butt will stay nice and cool, is also standard on this bike. It's a big bike with a big attitude, with an empty weight on 304 kilos, but a seat height at only 662 millimeters. So yeah, this bike is designed of one of the greatest motorcycle engine has ever made, and this is also to mark their 100-year anniversary about this model. But the electronics, they're not 100 years old, because what you see in the middle of the handlebar is the speedometer with an odometer inside, of course. But the thing I hate about the FTR 1200 when you buy a model that is a base model is this huge TFT squared display. I know it's a personal preference, but I really don't think that the design of this squared FTR display fits any Indian motorcycle, because Indian are designing their bikes to look like a little bit older with a modern twist, and then a huge TFT display that should sit on a KTM. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit on the design at all. But on the Chief, they created a speedometer that looks like an analog speedometer when it's not turned on, and when you turn the bike on, it is fully electronic. That is awesome. And the first thing I was looking up when I saw this speedometer, Chief speedometer on FTR 1200, and yes, it cannot be done. Maybe it can if you're very clever, but I'm not. So this speedometer is amazing, and it really complements the look on this chopper. It wouldn't have fit with a huge square speedometer in the middle of the handlebar. It really wouldn't. So that is one of my favorite designs they have created on this bike. So this Indian Chief is just a motorcycle with no bullshit at all. It is a chopper, and there's nothing on the bike that shouldn't be there. So that was actually everything I had for you today, guys. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you aren't already, and if you're new here, welcome. It is so awesome to see you. I hope that it is okay that I did this quick review of this Indian Chief, because I only had 1 hour with this bike, and I really want to get as much material, visual material, for you guys to see. So see you in the next one. See ya.